Indiana Fever many fans is still poking fingers at head coach Stephanie White for actually making the game not entertaining anymore, bro. This motion offense has to be addressed, and Stephanie White has to be held accountable because it's truly the offense that she's running, and it is not for Caitlin Clark at this point. Now, both Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White spoke to the media immediately.
Here's what went down behind the scenes. Caitlin Clark just dropped a brutally honest update on her health, and she didn't hold back when it came to Stephanie White. Was there shade? Was it accurate? Maybe both. Delivered cool, wrapped in a jump shot. This isn't your typical press conference. You'll have to see it to believe it. This is the uncensored Caitlin Clark. Grab your popcorn, because jaws are going to be on the floor. That's the kind of video this is.
At times, we could have played a little bit faster, and I think that's on me, like, not conceding in that. We still got to play up tempo. We still got to play fast. But I mean, I thought for the most part we did a lot of stuff that coach wanted us to do, and you know, that wasn't why we lost.
I can't hold you, man. That kind of looked like she let that slip out, man. I don't know. But I mean, we all see it. When they play slow, it's just not a good team, man. They're not as good as we see that they could be, right? So they need to play fast, man. I think, you know, they don't necessarily look that good when they're playing half-court ball. Maybe taking something from the Valkyries, man. The Valkyries run, all right? They be running.
She doesn't just look tired. She looks spiritually drained. Caitlin Clark runs on caffeine, sheer willpower, and a relentless determination. The WNBA is like a twisted version of American Ninja Warrior, only the obstacles are harsher coaches, stricter referees, and endless scrutiny. Forget the hardwood. This woman is navigating a gauntlet, and every challenge is part of her climb.
The league needs to take care of Caitlin, not for special treatment purposes, but that's who everybody's there to see. Everybody wants to see Caitlin Clark play. And if you let other teams and other people beat the shit out of her, she's going to spend 2 weeks out injured. And your attendance is going to drop because people aren't going to get the chance to see her. And if you actually want to be paid the same as the NBA players, obviously not by actual dollar for dollar, but for revenue percentage, you need to protect her. You need her to be playing at her best and not be...
She's become the league's favorite chew toy, a tackling dummy for officials, even though she's the face of progress, hope, and sold-out arenas. Missed calls are just the beginning. Now, referees measure how many illegal screens, shoulder bumps, and rough plays a player can endure before turning into emotional jelly. It's like she's living inside a full-blown experimental research project.
Aces defeated the Indiana Fever 89-81. And this game was disappointing for many fans, not only for the fact that it seemed like the Fever had this one in the bag, but they kind of gave it away at the end of the game, but also because it seemed like there was something off with this Fever team. They didn't have the same energy and spark that we all know and love. So many fans are asking, what is going on?
And it's not a pretty picture. The whistles have become selective wind instruments, only blowing when she's actually involved. Suddenly, the rule book reads like a chaotic choose-your-own-adventure story. She can keep playing if someone merely sneezes on her, but take a deep breath too close to someone, and she's facing a 2 or 5 game suspension.
I have figured out the solution to the Indiana Fever's problems. Hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. This is what we got to do. We got to put Caitlin Clark off ball. We need to run a motion offense, so when the defense takes away what Caitlin Clark does best, we have other players that can still perform, so when she does have bad games, we're not completely dead in the water. I think that is the best way to move forward with this Indiana Fever team.
Being physical has become a crime, not figuratively, but genuinely suspicious. Some muggings involve less contact. You almost wonder if defenders have taped brass knuckles under their wristbands. The league's reaction? Crickets. Worse yet, passive-aggressive Instagram posts act as if nothing's wrong while their biggest star is getting slammed into oblivion. And Indiana? Don't even get me started. Emotional tolls barely scratch the surface. The A feels heavy, like a haunted group therapy session fueled by Gatorade and broken dreams. It's as if Caitlin walked into a franchise made entirely of IKEA furniture, delicate, brittle, and impossible to assemble. You'd think a generational talent would get a red carpet. right? Nope. They handed her a dripping faucet and a paper towel. While her teammates play hungry hippos, she's trying to play 4D chess. Offense, undefined. Defense, non-existent. Stephanie White sketches plays on the sidelines like she's playing Pictionary in invisible ink. All that remains are vibrations. No structure, no guidance. Not even the good kind.
First talk about Caitlin Clark. So she struggled once again in this game. She was 7 for 20 from the field and 1 for 10 from 3, which puts her at 1 for 17 over the past few games. And if you're a fan of Caitlin Clark, you know that this is so unlike her. She is arguably the best shooter in the WNBA, and she is having a significant cold streak over the past 2 games. But her missing shots isn't actually what bothers me. The thing that bothered me most in the game yesterday was the one shot that she passed up. Now, she had been missing a few shots, and if you guys were on my live stream, I said the thing that she needs to do is to continue shooting. Shooters shoot. The only way to break a cold streak is to continue.
It's like Clark is staring into the void every time she glances toward the bench. As the game spirals further into chaos, Stephanie White gestures as if taking an order at a noisy drive-thru. It's interpretative dance, not coaching. One moment she's screaming for pace, the next she's preaching patience, leaving players trapped in a full-blown existential crisis, unsure which version of the plan they are supposed to follow, or if it even exists. Clark's once sprightly, dynamic game is now buffering. Her confidence wavers, passes are late. Where she once attacked with fearless creativity, now she treads carefully. And really, who could blame her? Playing at the highest level while constantly scanning the bench for guidance and dodging elbows from every angle would rattle anyone. At this rate, Caitlin might need an exorcist, or a spatial, or maybe both, because what's happening goes far beyond basketball skills. It's psychological warfare. Instead of reducing players to regrettable highlight reels, this league should nurture and protect them. Yet the WNBA, which once begged for her brilliance, is slowly draining it instead.
Wait, what? Did you just tell me that Stephanie White went on an interview tour this whole entire offseason saying exactly that? Did you just tell me Stephanie White went on an So how come when Caitlin Clark has a bad game, this team looks like absolute dog shit? How come when Caitlin Clark isn't busy backpacking this team, it looks like absolute dog shit, coach? Just a question. Just a question. What we saw today, folks, I feel bad for everybody that had to sit through that. Everybody that wasted 2 hours and 25 minutes watching the Indiana Fever versus the Las Vegas Aces. I feel bad that we had to sit through that. That was a tough one.
She hasn't even found her sophomore rhythm yet. This is supposed to be the season of the great leap, the I know what I'm doing now period, the glow up. Instead, she's trying to survive the Hunger Games armed with a mismatched team and a water gun. And it's almost tragically poetic that league officials are busy playing Sudoku with the rules while the fan base screams for help. A multi-generational talent trapped in a Groundhog Day remake, where every game is a mashup of heartbreak and despair. Meanwhile, Stephanie White keeps grinning at press conferences as if she's uncovered a secret blueprint that only exists in some parallel reality. Clark begins to doubt the instincts that once made her unstoppable. She's stuck in a fire loop, a hoop fixed to the side, before exhaustion takes over, and she wakes to realize she isn't leading a revolution, just surviving one.
Well, I think you have to look at things a little bit holistically. I think Caitlin Clark is a really hard player to officiate, much like Diana Taurasi was throughout the course of her career, for a couple of reasons. Caitlin Clark regularly gets picked up in the full court. She also gets blitzed more over the course of her career than any player in WNBA history or in that period of time. And she also creates some contact herself on the offensive end of the floor. She is very difficult to officiate because of all of the contact that's happening around her.
The longer she stays trapped in this mental whirlpool, the harder it will be to recover. She needs a plan for escape, maybe a parachute, maybe a time machine. And losing games, that's the least of it. This is about losing her identity as a player while the league looks on, helpless. It's baffling. The moment she turned pro, cameras and sponsorships were everywhere. Now, aimless dribbles and misfired post entries are letting her fade. She is the player, the reason people are watching, not just another name on the roster. Yet they treat her like a replacement on a 20-year-old team navigating with a broken GPS. Stephanie White obsesses over rotations that make no sense, treating lineups like a Pinterest board. Take Caitlin off the ball for 80% of the game. Surely that will help. This is the kind of environment that doesn't just ruin statistics, it chips away at your soul. If no one else will save her, she must save herself. She deserves better. The fans deserve better. The game deserves better.
Well, I be damned. I be damned. 7 for 20 from the field. 1 for 10 from the three-point line. And look at those turnovers. 8 turnovers. She leads the league in turnovers. But guess what? Her Clarkies are only going to be impressed, and they're going to brag about the 19 points and 10 assists. Me personally, I'm all about efficiency. I'm concerned about those last 3, them turnovers, which she leads the league in turnovers. She is shooting horrible from the field. And as far as them three-pointers, in the last 2 games, she's only made 1 three-pointer, and that's the one against...
Caitlin Clark might as well start packing her bags, unless Indiana finds a new coach, a fresh game plan, and a backbone capable of distinguishing between offense, motion, and wild flailing. Because at this rate, we won't be witnessing the rise of a superstar if she stays much longer. What we're seeing is the slow unraveling of a legend, undone by indifference, Paul Whistles, and Stephanie White's enchanted, enigmatic, and strategically baffling approach. She's on the court, but she's not in charge, not even close. It's like Clark is the lead in a dystopian play, given no lines, only movements. Her talent remains, but the authority, leadership, and spark that once made her the center of the basketball universe are being stifled, diminished. Her development isn't happening.